Hi, I'm Karol. I'm Augmented Reality Technical Manager for Transition Technologies PSC.
And my name is Pavel. I'm head of augmented reality business development for Transition Technologies PSC. We are not so happy not to be out there with you in Boston today, but on the other hand, it's a pleasure to welcome you to our office in Poznań. Transition Technologies PSC is a Polish company operating globally. We are a trusted integrator and R&D partner for PTC on 3 continents in more than 20 locations with more than 2,000 software engineers on board.
Yeah, and today we are going to talk how to deal with collaborative multi-location AR project.
Today we want to share our knowledge and experience about a particular case that we are going to discuss, which we are currently running with one of the major Polish and European breweries. We've divided it into 3 different areas. The names of the areas, they may sound familiar, it's not a coincidence. So the first one is Into Glory Rides, in which we are going to focus on how to sell a multi-location Industry 4.0 project. Then we're going to move on to the brave sounds of Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, and of course it will be about the client's intentions and our actions to deliver the project successfully.
And then we will arrive at Come As You Are, which means what came out of it, what struggles we faced, and what we've learned while running this or any other of more than 500 projects that our company has completed, and probably more than 20, isn't it, that we have run together with Karol. The story we are about to tell you is also to show you the main idea that we want to share through this presentation. And this idea is that digitization is not really about testing singular products. It's about building effective partnerships that help you to transform your processes, and you need to be always ready for a change.
Yeah, so a lot of valuable information
coming your way. But first, let us tell you a little bit about who we are. Transition Technologies PSC is a Polish company with global footprint. We have 28 years of experience of delivering industrial innovation to the market. We are present on 3 continents in 22 different locations, and we have nearly 3,000 workers in our capital group. To deliver reliable solutions, we need to be in strong business partnerships. We've been a partner of PTC for over 10 years now, and we are also global partners of Microsoft and Rockwell Automation. This is something that warranties the quality of our work and also makes us a reliable integrator who is really able to connect the dots. Since we are not as big as our partners are, we have also quite a lot of startup energy in us. Please check out the film which shows what we specialize in. Definitely our style. first, we're going to give you a glance at the project itself. We have met the customer during one of the Factory of the Future events that we've been running together with Microsoft Poland, all across Poland. These events are a perfect opportunity for the industry partners to meet, exchange knowledge, information, and also look for solutions. So talking to the guys from the brewery, we found out that they have something that is a perfect match for augmented reality. This is what we believe. The general issue they were facing was about the need of unification of company operations in different locations, in diversified working environments, and with different operational cultures. In fact, this was caused by the fact that the breweries were not part of one group initially.
Exactly. So each brewery was acquired by the customer, and actually each brewery also had previously different processes and different approach how to document these TPM procedures and also how to resolve the problems.
Yeah.
The idea was generally to try to unify how can we approach that problem with the standardized
generally a perfect match for augmented reality as a mean for enhancing communications, right? In a very diversified environment, not only because of the locations, but also because of the company cultures, which is quite a significant thing in this project. So
yeah, and of course, the second thing was also to encourage these sites to solve the problem together. Yeah, so to exchange the know-how between the factories to solve the problem faster without, this kind of communication mess.
Yeah, they were looking for tools to enable easy exchange of their know-how and providing a unified document structure, which we found out totally exciting to be working with. Yeah, since I believe everybody understands what kind of opportunity this is for Industry 4.0 company.
Exactly, it was actually perfect case to go to the augmented reality project and fulfill that requirements.
As a service provider, we always need to understand what customer really needs. We are not able to understand or grasp all of the operations that any manufacturing plant might run in general. So the first thing is always to start working together. In this picture, you can see the Transition Technologies team wearing orange vests, and anonymous to you, non-anonymous to us team of the brewery during the first visit we paid to them before the project started. We talked to them and we learned about how they work, what they do, and what kind of issues they are facing every day, and what are also their hopes towards the technologies that we have presented. We always remember that you are not able to scope out a project during a fancy event. Yeah, it's always work that does the thing. So that's why we also moved on to another step, which took us a little bit forward towards the project, which was the scoping workshop, right?
Yeah, exactly. So our journey with our client, we started from the digitization workshop based on the requirements that we actually got from the client. Yeah. So first of all, visit on the factory, meet the team, the digitization team, and also think how can we translate these business requirements into the working solutions. And of course, working with the digitization team was crucial in terms of providing appropriate tools to the operators. Yeah. At this stage, we haven't worked across all departments within the factories, but we focus on the general assumptions and translate that into the working IT solution.
But the important thing, I believe, was also the fact that we gathered the representatives of the digitization team from all 4 factories we are working on together now, and this was also a great opportunity for both us and them to cooperate, to learn how to work together, and generally to learn about each other's work in the end. So generally, working together is a mean to success, and it wasn't us who said so. It was Henry Ford. To make an effective business partnership with a project like that, both parties, I mean the provider and the customer, they need to achieve their goals. To achieve their goals, which means to have a great project from which both parties benefit, means also to compromise and to consider each other's points of view. Here are some tips on what to look out for and what to consider during the business development phase, during the time when you need to agree upon your goals and the ways to achieve it. So the first thing to remember is always that both sides of the story, they always have a picture of a state-of-the-art solution in their minds that mostly comes from YouTube or science fiction movies or the books I read or the articles I know or anything else I have ever seen or I'm able to picture in my mind. And these visions, they very often differ. They differ quite significantly because there's always the perspective of the people who invent things and the people who need to use them. So yeah. We have to remember that that most of the ideas for digitization derives from business needs. Therefore, they very often come from managers rather than the operational workers who are busy doing things generally.
And exactly this is the point, because in general, the solution that we are providing during such a digitalization project is about providing the appropriate, well-suited jacket to the operators.
Yeah, so still there could be a huge gap between the ideas that dwell in the minds of managers and innovation drivers and IT companies and the things that people need.
Exactly.
Generally, there could be like a million of memes that we could show about it. But what we want to say is that just let's all be careful about what we are doing. Let's keep our goals in mind, the goals of the projects, not the particular goals or visions that we might have in our minds. Let's think about the goal and the purpose of the project we are doing, and let's involve all the parties that should be involved in it.
Yeah, and of course remember the final target, the final audience of the work that we are doing.
Yeah, the conclusion is we need a very cheap limo.
Yeah, exactly.
So once we discussed expectations, time to think about goals. The goals are common for both parties involved. We all want to have an efficient project that will give great return on investment, will be highly operationally efficient, and can be sold with profit. There are always two areas which limit a project. On one hand, this is the budget, so it's the money you want to spend or you want to earn, and the technical options for delivering this project. If we do not consider both while developing new business with our future partner, the project is likely to fail.
Yeah, in general, it has to make sense on both sides. Yeah, both sides needs to take the responsibility how the final project will be shaped. And actually, what's important, what I remember from the very first meeting during the workshop, everybody was discussing about should we pick the HoloLens device or the real one device.
Yeah, should we use HMT1 or HoloLens? Can you run ThinkWorks on HoloLens?
Exactly, and the question that arises in my head was actually, okay, but what is the case of the usage of these devices? Because I know they are quite fancy devices, and the case is that how the end user, the operator, will actually work with the solution, because it's about the comfort, about the process, and
and about the purpose.
And about
In
the
general,
purpose,
yeah. So generally discussing devices during this type of projects is a very common thing. I believe that everybody wants to discuss devices, but this also often results in forgetting about the goals. So once again, get back to the goals, focus on goals, go for the goals, not for the devices. Do not go for technology, go for a solution. Do not go for low budget, go for effectivity. Yeah, I believe that that's what we want to say, because this type of responsibility always pays off.
Exactly.
To summarize the business development part of this story and this presentation, the lead came to us from an Industry 4.0 event, typical story. The business development phase involved working visits to all 4 locations, in different locations in Poland. It was about 2,000 kilometers, as far as I remember. Yeah, and a get-together scoping workshop with all the teams, of course, and a million telcos, telephones, emails, and so on and so forth. The important thing about this stage was that we always try to focus on the business goals of the project, not on the devices. We considered budget, trying not to stretch it too much, and then we tried to adapt the right technology to meet the business requirements of the customer.
So let's deep dive into the project details. As you know, we had digitization workshops in each of the locations. Afterwards, we had digitization workshops altogether.
This is how we found out why a brewing company like this turned to augmented reality as a mean of improving their operations. There are 4 main reasons, 4 basic needs for which the customer decided to test augmented reality as a technology to improve their process. We're going to discuss each one of them along with the solution that we offered.
So, first of all, they want to remove paper and convert the current existing documentation to the digital work instructions. Our natural thought was to utilize ThingWorx platform as a distribution platform for the TPM procedures.
They were also extremely interested in having a hands-free solution for delivering knowledge to operational workers, which was also very natural for us, and we found that very exciting, since currently we are running a really major hands-free project with Vestas, a wind turbine producer, a global wind turbine producer, and the project itself is highly successful in what it really does. So it was quite natural for us to offer them a hands-free solution for delivering work instructions based on ThingWorx for this.
The third reason was to enhance communication between the sides. First of all, we wanted to standardize procedures across all sites, and later on encourage people to talk between the sites to maintain and also repair the existing infrastructure.
Yeah, so it was about merging company cultures between the newly acquired plants that they had. And the last but not least, was also the training need, especially for the seasonal workers, since all the breweries tend to hire seasonal workers in the season when they need to keep up with the production. This happens between May and September, more or less. They were also highly interested in delivering knowledge, the contextual knowledge, to seasonal workers without hassle and in a hands-free manner.
Yeah, to actually speed up the training process to the new workers.
And increase efficiency.
Exactly. Right. Since ThingWorx is best-in-class platform for data aggregation and distribution, we needed world-class device that will deliver the data to the operators. Naturally, we picked RealWear HMT1 because of the noise cancellation, long-lasting battery, high durability and also support for the Polish language.
Yeah, it was really important that the device is operated in our native language, since adoption of new devices is generally difficult, and the familiar sounds could make it a lot easier, and it did, in fact. This way, we created a concept that we've been promoting for some time now in different projects of a Worker 4.0, a person that is connected, which means that they have access to contextual data in real time. A person that is assisted, which means that they have a connection to a remote system, a remote expertise system available, and a person that is engaged, so also a person who is able to create the knowledge and create their own input into the knowledge base of a company. So from the operational perspective, we decided to have a single device in each of the plants. And what we have to remember is that the existing standard in these plants was using paperwork instructions, but also the technicians, they had their smartphones for direct communications. We also decided to run the project in experimental mode, which means we didn't define the exact procedures or the exact patterns of use for the devices and the solutions and the software solutions we provided. So the teams, they were to test the remote support options as they wished to do. They were also about creating, they also were given a tool for creating their own digital work instructions for their specific internal procedures.
The deployment phase was super easy. We deployed the software solution, we delivered also the devices with all the necessary training materials. After few weeks, we discovered that solution is used less frequently.
Implementing a new solution and testing it requires proper actions. We quickly realized that allowing people to experiment on the solution that we provided caused the fact that a lot of departments were interested in the device and the solution itself, and they wanted to test it. So this way, because of a high interest of the device in general, we lost track of what is happening in the shop floor, what is happening on the production line, where it was really supposed to be used. This was the first thing we had to reconsider.
People started to borrowing device between departments. As a result, they were only testing the solution rather than use it in the real life scenarios.
Yeah, rather scratching the surface than utilizing it properly. So the general conclusion that we had after that is that if you want to implement a new solution, you need to saturate the area with the devices on a level that allows them to be used commonly by everybody.
Solution must be available to everybody, because if it won't be accessible, people won't use it.
The simple fact we had to face was that people did not use the solution as we intended with the project owners. The reason was quite simple. Solution provided on a single device for a significant number of people within a team had no chance to get into competition with an existing working standard that was available to everybody all the time.
And accessible without any issues.
Yeah, so what there is to learn for us, for the project owners, and hopefully also for you while scoping your augmented reality project, is that you need to assure the availability of a sufficient number of devices. You have to saturate your project with a number of devices that is enough for the workers to use them instead of an existing solution. And also, by the way, growing the same confidence of use of a new device and probably a modified process that would go with it. So a single device will not do the job. Except for this slightly unfortunate assumptions that were made initially in the project regarding the number of the devices available to the teams, the rest of project conclusions were both obvious and very positive.
People understood benefits coming from digital versus the paper documentation. From the factory perspective or the management perspective, they could easily maintain the procedures across all the departments. From the operator's perspective, they could collaborate and also spread the feedback about the procedures and the conclusions that are coming from the workers.
Just like every time you implement something new into the process, you always need to expect some challenges towards change management. But this was something we've already predicted, just like we do in every project that we run. Sometimes after taking 2 steps forward, it's worth taking 1 step back. So we learned that literally all the participants were excited with the paperless as an idea. On the other hand, we made some wrong assumptions initially by not offering them a sufficient number of head-mounted devices. So we needed to use what we had and offer them the same solution on different devices. The teams were already equipped with smartphones and tablets, so there was no problem for us in using ThingWorx for delivering information on these measures. On the other hand, we were also given with a new opening, a new opportunity for the head-mounted devices, which turned out to be really exciting.
We moved all the head-mounted devices to one location,
which created a perfect opportunity to observe and to analyze how hands-free solutions can benefit everyday's workflows.
In addition, we equipped all the team members with Vuforia Chalk for mobile devices,
which gave the availability of remote communications to all the plants. So the basic assumptions of the project, they remained intact.
Yeah, exactly. In addition, there was no problem at all to also extend the ThingWorx procedures to deliver that procedures to the mobile devices or the tablets.
So in fact, in turn, we maximize the availability of all the solutions to all the plants, which was quite a nice thing to deliver for the customer, especially. Generally, never assume what's done is done. Accept the need to change, because there is always one waiting around the corner. Now it's time to ask you a question. Do you think that this change would be possible if the customer chose only one particular product to be tested?
To be honest, it's really hard to ask the product to change the way it works.
Yeah, but you can always ask a partner to change something.
If you have a product, you can define whether it works to you or not.
If you have a partner, you can always use a range, a portfolio of products and probably some custom development options to meet your demands.
And also rely on the experience of the partner.
Yeah, so what we believe is that before going into emerging technologies, or if you want to test emerging technologies successfully, you should always consider having wise people around you. Like, for example, the guys from Transition Technologies. And always be ready for a change. Since the project is ongoing and under an NDA, we are not able to disclose the name of the partner this time. But we do have quite a lot of famous brands and great partners we are working with on a daily basis. Feel free to check us out at ttpsc.com. to check out on the latest projects and all the news that you could find interesting. Of course, you can feel free to reach out to me on email, reach us out on LinkedIn, or by whatever means available. We do hope to see you again next year. Take care.
Bye.